Now that we had the front end put together and looking beautifully, might be some little adjustments here and there, but other than that it's good. So the next thing to be done is get the rear brakes off. Want to get them prepped, painted, and then we can get them put onto the car. So first things first, let's see if we can get this car lifted up and take off the rear wheels. To assist with lifting a Mercedes, I have these jack points right there. It's best to have one of these. They plug in there and get them off Temu quite cheaply. And I get the job done. Now that I've got the rear wheels in the air, let's take them off and see how we can get these rear calipers off. Oh, just get your screwdriver, whack it in there, under the clip. Just need to get the brake sensor plug out, and you just pull out. What's next? I think we need to take these end caps off here. There's one on the top and there's one on the bottom right here. Okay, next is the brake sensor. That's right there, and that's an E10. I'll pull the screw back just to make sure that's nice and safe. We don't want it. Get these two bolts undone. That might be quite hard to get off, or at least to start initially, because a lot of dirt and grime gets into these areas. One thing I need to do is actually get this banjo belt undone here as well. So let's maybe do that before we completely undo these. And it's number 11. And be prepared. Might be, oh, there will be brake fluid. Okay. The next thing we've got to do is get all these cables undone, because this whole caliper is joined to the actual servo for the e-brake. So these need to come out as well. Okay, all the lines should now be free. We can complete removing the caliper. There we go. So these bolts are now undone, top and bottom. So our caliper should now come out, but it seems the brake pads are seized on the rotor. There is a space between the caliper and the bracket. You can get your screwdriver in there and just pry against the pad and the rotor, and you should be able to get this off. Maybe after a few tries. And I needed to use the method of actually supplying the additional power to the e-servo, because for some reason or another it didn't open up. We still haven't got all the brake fluid in the lines, so that's potentially the cause. But anyway, as you can see, now I'm able to get the caliper off. And now the last thing we need to do is just get this bracket off, get these brake pads out. Now we've got the right hand side done. Let's pick up all the tools and get the left hand side done as well. And to get the bracket off, you need a 18mm spanner. It makes like a mallet, so you can actually convince the bolt to start moving. Okay, once that's done, just grab a ratchet 18. There's not much space in the back. On the bottom you probably get away with a regular socket. On the top you need one of these 18mm ratchets. And there's our bucket. So now it's time to get these and take them outside, get them cleaned up. Alright, it's just a matter of now cleaning these calipers up to make sure they are prepared for painting. And a little bit of degreaser goes a long way. Old toothbrush to agitate some of dirt, make sure we get everything off. Once you've got these relatively clean, what you need is some sandpaper, like a 240, 320, could be even coarser for the initial startup. It really depends on your calipers, how good of a condition they're in, or some Scotch pads. Clean these up a little bit more, and they're coming up a treat. Alright guys, we've ran into a bit of a stumbling block. I'm glad that I got to painting the calipers, because I think without painting and cleaning them up, I probably wouldn't have seen them. I didn't look that closely, but let me show you what I found. When I've been looking at these calipers, I thought these were potentially some cast issues here and here. It was just a little bit rough. There's a bit of a ridge, and as I started cleaning these up, what I've noticed is these are actually cracked. I think as a result of the accident, these cracked, and essentially the problem here is if these break off, well, the whole caliper goes flying and potentially hits the body or flies off, and well, depending as to how fast you're going, well, potential death. So I think this is the best area you can see, right on the ridge on the corner there. As you can see, there's a crack, and that goes all the way through there. There's another crack right there. So essentially these calipers, guys, they're no good, and it goes the same for both of them. I checked both of them. This one's not as bad, but as you can see there, in comparison to here, where it's all indented, these are actually quite smooth. So this one didn't probably have as much of an impact. So the good news is I got these when I bought the front McPherson's. These were actually also included. Now the only thing is, as you can see, all the rubbers perished. Probably can reutilize some of these cylinders, but I might be getting new rubbers, or we can also use the cylinders from here and the rubbers. And I think what we'll do is actually put them across onto these. So essentially I think what we're doing is completely rebuilding these calipers. Now I'm obviously a little bit unhappy, because this adds work and it's going to put me getting the car back on the road off a little bit, but at the same time I'm really glad that we're going to be able to have good calipers on that I know are not cracked, and I can enjoy the car for a long time to come without risking my life each time I drive it. So I've done a fair bit of cleaning up, and these are quite dirty. So essentially I need to go back right from the start. I'm not going to repeat the whole bloody thing and put it on camera for you again. I'll get this done, front end areas, and then we'll get to the painting stage. And to get all the pistons out in the caliper, get yourself a plank of wood so they don't all jump out at the same time, and just pump some air into it. There it is. All four have now come out, and we should be able to get these removed. Right, then there's one of the rear calipers that's been done, and the bracket. Bracket didn't clean up all that well, but that's okay. The caliper cleaned up quite well in comparison to one that hasn't been cleaned. Okay, so now we've got to do this one, and then once that's done, well, there's obviously still bits and pieces that need to be cleaned up, and we'll need a wire wheel for that. So let's get this caliper finalized. And cleaning up these calipers is actually quite hard work, I must admit. If there's any companies out there that want to do a deal for a parts washer and a sandblaster, get in touch with me, and hopefully we can work together and get a deal done. I was planning on using these big wire brush wheels to just clean the remainder of the muck off, but well, I don't have the drill. I completely forgot about it. So I've got my trusty Dremel tool, and I'll see if that works. But well, I mean, just compare the size of the brushes. Tiny, and that's larger. Well, let's see how it goes. And remember, safety first. So get some gloves on, some goggles, and I should have some face mask somewhere around here to get onto my ugly mug. Well, as you can see, I'll tell you one thing, make sure you actually have your goggles on, because there's all these little things flying from this wire wheel, and the wire wheel itself is not looking all that great after a couple of minutes. I'll put this silver one on. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that goes like total crap, but I think of something else. One front right hand side caliper ready for paint, and I guess now that we've got to repeat this 3 more times for the reminder. So let me do the other 3 off camera and get it to a stage where we're masking things off.
2,000 years later.
All the calipers are cleaned up, the brackets are still left. It took me bloody hours. I wish I had a parts washer and a sandblasting cabinet. It would have just made the whole process a lot easier. But, well, you know, it can be done without those components as well if you don't have them. But it just takes a lot of time and quite a bit of elbow grease. Anyway, let's go have a look at the parts and you tell me what you think. The fronts, they have been all cleaned up. They came out quite well. They've still got quite a bit of dirt on them. I think that's just eaten into the metal now. So they've been sanded as well, so they're pretty much ready for painting. Here are the rears. There's still a little bit more work I need to do with the wire wheel, plus I need to do the brackets. The brackets have a bit of rust on them. The actual servos for the e-brakes, that will come off. So for you it's going to be a second, for me it's going to be the next day. I'll grab the wire wheel and get these things completed, and then we can actually start painting and put that awesome yellow paint on them. And now it's time for the wire wheel. So guys, I'm addressing I guess the oil that's eaten into the metal a bit, just making sure that that's ready to get painted so it doesn't peel off. Nice and black, and now it's nice and clean. So let's get the rest of them done. We've gone from the uncleaned to the clean. Let's get these brackets cleaned up as well. I must admit it took a little while, but we've got the calipers cleaned. Let me give you a look. So next thing is, let's give them a degrease and mask them up. Well, it took ages to get done, but it's done. So the last thing to do is to wipe it down with isopropanol, and then we can get painting. I think that might be the best way will be to use this rack and hang these calipers down from that. And for that I've got some this wire, so I'll cut this down and start hanging all these parts up. I've hanged all the calipers and the brackets up. The last thing to do is get some isopropanol out. Just give everything a wipe down. I've moved everything aside, given everything a wipe down with isopropanol, and hopefully the weather holds up. So I've got my U-Pol primer all mixed up. It's in the gun. We've got our calipers sprayed in with undercoat. Got nice even coverage, which is great. Just waiting that to flash off correctly. Should be done in the next 5 to 10 minutes. This time we'll mix our yellow paint and we'll get prepared, spray in colour. And there's the paint that we're going to put on the calipers. Do you want to take a look? And there it is. Wow, look at that. That's like a million rays of sunshine. What a beautiful colour. So let me get the mixing cup, get this mixed up, and let's get spraying. And guys, we've got the first coat on, so take a look at that. It is looking magnificent. It is just the first coat, so some areas might be lighter, some might be darker, but That should even up. Alright guys, and now we're going to go and throw our third and final coat. And guys, take a look at that. What a transformation. I do have a bit of an issue. You can see right there. I fly landed and I tried to get it out. I did get it out, but I marked up the paint a little bit, so that needs to be, I guess, scrubbed down a little bit, and we'll see what needs to be done. That's where the actual sticker goes, so maybe we might get lucky and we'll go over it. And it's looking fantastic. What a transformation. So now it's just a matter of waiting till tomorrow. Once it's dry off, I'll come back, put the stickers on, the AMG stickers, and then we'll put some clear on it. The paint shop actually done some odd thing, because I believe I actually got a one-stage paint here. I don't know why. I asked for base. It is 2 days after I painted these calipers. Take a look at these beauties. Wow. But like I said, this is a one-stage paint, so it's actually got a nice gloss on it. I actually need to mat this down, so I've actually got now more work to do, because for me to be able to put clear on this, it needs to be matted down. So let's take the front calipers down. Using a grey Scotch pad, some very fine 600 to 800 sponge sandpaper, plus some 600 paper. Now the only thing is, you've got to be careful not to burn through the edges or anything like that. I've also put some bubble tape with some cloth underneath, just to make sure that the paint is protected and it's not going to get scratched up. So taking it slowly, let's just give everything a mat down and make sure that the clear has got something to stick to. Before we put the sticker on, just give everything a wipe down with isopropanol. Just nice and light. Just get rid of that dust. And the sticker's got a proper surface to adhere to. A nice clean surface to adhere to. Making sure that the letters stay on, obviously. Put the backing at a sharp angle and pull it backwards. Just make sure you do it slowly. Watch the sticker so it remains on the caliper, nothing comes off. Wham! There's one of our AMG calipers. And once it gets a nice coat of clear, that sticker will be well protected. Alright, now I just got to repeat this 3 more times. We've got the second caliper wipe. Oh, that was a good save. Nearly lost my camera there. Alright, now let's go grab the back ones and do the same to them. So you've seen the two fronts, and here's a rear one. On this last one we've got a bit of a problem. Not quite sure as to what happened here, but there was a drip. Ended up on my t-shirt. So anyway, well that's okay. We can touch that up a little bit later. But let's get this last one matted down, put the sticker on, and that'll be the 4 calipers done. So what we have to do now is just get a little bit of paint, a paintbrush, and give it a little bit of a touch up. Guys, this is a brake caliper, and I still will be clearing this over. With our rear caliper drying, let's get onto these caliper brackets. Last 2 pieces to be sanded before we put clear on. Alright guys, and it is the very next day here, and I'm back. I've got all the calipers hanged up. So now let's grab our isopropanol and some clean rags. Let's give everything a final wipe down, and then we'll be able to get spraying.
And the only issue is I'm facing, I keep on getting these little flies landing on the surface. I think they're attracted by this yellow color.
Or should I just go ahead and move the whole setup inside?
We're getting everything final wipe down. Now, not quite sure if it's like the isopropanol smell or something, but those bugs don't seem to be coming back. Wet it down with some isopropanol, give it an additional smell. Hopefully keep those pesky bugs away.
We are fast losing daylight. It is afternoon. I've just finished work on a Friday, and I really want to get these done so they can dry overnight and we can put them on tomorrow. Our cup is full.
So guys, the first coat is down. These bloody flies are keep on coming back. So I am blowing them off. Overall, it's okay. Most of the time I've got some air. I'm just blowing these guys off. These guys are sitting here, so let's blow them off. There you go, that's gone. Gone.
This is like Dirty Harry. Come on, make my day.
Well, it seems it's time for coat number 3. And that's the final coat.
So once again, before I start, let's go have a look for those pesky flies to see if there's any to be blown off. Fill our gun. We've got 3 coats. AMG logo. They are gonna look so good on a Mercedes, on the black Mercedes. They're gonna really make it pop. And off camera I painted these 2 clips black so they all look nice and new, and I decided to just throw some clear on them as well to keep them protected. The calipers are painted. The paint's still drying, so I won't touch it. I'll leave it overnight. I'll come back tomorrow and I guess get these installed. But overall, I'm quite happy as to how this came out. And if you compare to how these look originally, and this is it, well, I think we've done a really good job. And I'm very happy with the results. So guys, the next thing is to get these mounted up, but we'll leave that for the next episode. In this episode, we got a lot done and the project has really progressed. Show the YouTube algorithm some love by leaving a like, leaving me a comment with your thought. Consider subscribing to the channel because it's going to help the channel grow. So that's going to be it for today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.